There is no progress without opposition. Sometimes the opposition comes from the most unsuspecting places. The devil is evil. He don't fight fair. This thing in life, that's not fair what they saying about me. That's not fair what they doing about me. It wasn't fair how they did Jesus, but they did it anyway.
Word on the street is Steve Harvey might be moving slick behind the scenes. And now folks are saying he's using Shannon Sharpe's messy situation as a sneaky way to fire back at Katt Williams. Insiders claim Steve's been in Shannon's ear, quietly putting the blame on Katt for all the heat Shannon's catching lately legally and professionally. Remember that Club Shay bombshell from January 2024? Yeah, Katt didn't just go viral, that man went full detonation. He aired out fake friendships, shady Hollywood games, and didn't hesitate to throw direct shots at Steve himself. Katt accused Steve of snatching jokes, blocking other comics from the spotlight, and turning his back on his first wife and kids. And baby, that was just the surface. He spilled enough skeletons from Steve's closet to start a haunted house, and the internet ate it up like free tea on a Tuesday. Now Steve tried to keep it classy, or at least act like it didn't faze him. He played that "I'm above this" card, but let's be real, that interview hit deep. And now Steve's allegedly creeping from the sidelines, planting little ideas in Shannon's head like, yo, Katt did this to you, but fans ain't buying that. They're dragging Steve for trying to act like the victim when Katt just laid bare what folks been whispering for years. Instead of stepping to Katt face to face, Steve's out here letting Shannon take the heat while he sits back and watches. So now everybody's asking, is Steve really trying to support Shannon? Or is this just about getting revenge because he's still tight about getting cooked on Club Shay?
Careful when you hear something that's laid out to be the truth, and because the person that's telling you what they say is true is speaking eloquently, don't be deceived by it.
Shannon Sharpe's situation just keeps spiraling, and now it feels like the whole industry's jumping in. From sports talk shows to the comedy world, even washed up celebs looking for a little shine, everybody got Shannon's name in their mouth right now. But here's where it gets wilder. Insiders say Steve Harvey's stirring the pot from the background. Right after that jaw-dropping $50 million lawsuit from OnlyFans model Gabriella Zuniga hit Shannon, Steve allegedly reached out not to show love, but to flip the narrative. They say Steve's been whispering that Katt Williams set Shannon up, that the Club Shay interview was all part of some master plan to sabotage his career. Basically, that Katt played chess and made Shannon the pawn to take shots at major names in the game. But let's cut the fluff. Nobody made Shannon link with a 19-year-old OnlyFans chick. Nobody told him to act wild, say reckless stuff, or get caught up. That's all on him. Now fans are side-eyeing Steve, saying he's just using Katt as a scapegoat, not pushing for justice, just payback. And honestly, Katt been calling Steve out long before that viral interview. Whether it was on stage, in interviews, or in that wild freestyle he dropped back in the day, Katt's been exposing Steve left and right. And every single time, Steve goes quiet. No receipts, no real response, just ducking and dodging. Now it feels like Steve's trying to shift Shannon's fire onto Katt just to settle some old beef. Meanwhile, Katt's been steady peeling the curtain back, showing folks the real Steve behind that polished TV smile. Remember that freestyle where Katt name dropped Steve, Diddy, and Jermaine Dupri like it was light work? Man's been on this smoke.
And Puff, I'll be back to you if JD ain't had enough. Yeah. Jermaine Dupri, king of the pedophiles, if you ask me, baby.
And Steve Harvey, I heard about your book. I'm proud of your success, but look, better stop telling people that lies before you be somewhere and meet one of my guys. You see, when I'm around them, it's polite and gentlemen. Be alone, they be all hyped up on Ritalin. And if I ain't there to hold them back, they'll be anxious to get it in.
Back then, folks tried to clown Katt, called him crazy, said he was reaching. But now, those old clips are aging like vintage receipts. Fans are bringing him back out like, see? Katt been trying to warn us about how grimy this game really is. Let's rewind to 2009, cause that's when the pressure cooker really started bubbling. Katt wasn't just talking slick, he straight up challenged Steve to a comedy showdown and let the world know, I'm coming for that king of comedy crown.
First of all, I'd like to say thank you to you, because you didn't have to accept this.
You could have just said, no, I'm not going to do it. You have been the king of comedy as long as we've had one. Matter of fact, the whole phrase, king of comedy, can be attributed to you. And I'm honored that you would allow me to share the same stage as you. I don't know why people made this a championship bout. And I don't know why you was okay with that. And I want to apologize for what's going to happen.
Who is this?
But the second that you
Jim
get
Jones.
on stage, the second that you get off stage, I need you to understand that that's your final time as the king of comedy.
At first, Steve played along like he was with the smoke, told everybody he'd take the challenge. But then, man ghosted like a side dude on Valentine's Day. No follow-up, no response. Just poof, but Katt didn't let it slide. He kept that same energy for years, and when he finally hit that Club Shay seat, he let the whole clip fly. Names were dropped, secrets were aired, receipts were brought out like evidence in court. Katt said Steve's "I used to be homeless" sob story. Katt, he even dug into Steve's personal life, claiming he left his first wife for Marjorie like it was part of some Illuminati starter pack.
This is like Steve Harvey telling people he used to be homeless. That's my story. That's not his story. Steve Harvey wasn't never homeless. When Mark Curry was touring with him 25 years ago, he was making $3,000 a show in cash and doing 5 shows a week. They just tell the stories. Thanks to my wife, I'm where I am. You said that about the first wife. You forget that? You told us it was her, then you went and married somebody else that think like a man.
And guess what? That wasn't even the real heat. That was just Katt stretching before the main event. He made it real clear. He was just getting started pulling back the curtain on Hollywood's so-called good guys. Then he dropped what he says is the real reason Steve left stand-up, and let's just say, it ain't the noble story Steve tried to push. You remember about 9 months before Katt's interview went viral, Steve told Shannon he walked away from stand-up because he had 7 shows and just couldn't balance it all. Sounded respectable, right? But Katt, he called straight cap on that. According to him, it wasn't about no schedule, it was about messy drama bubbling behind the scenes. Drama so nasty, Steve supposedly bailed before it got exposed.
Told you that he stopped doing stand-up because he had 7 TV shows. The only problem is when he stopped stand-up, he didn't have those 7 TV shows. He stopped stand-up because he got in a comedy battle called the Championship of Stand-Up Comedy with one Katt Williams in Detroit in front of 10,000 people and lost because Katt Williams said he was actually bald and that was a wig. And I went in, and that's why he couldn't do stand-up anymore. Imagine him coming to tell you another story where he got so big and it was Bernie and them's fault because they wanted to be movie stars. What?
Katt didn't hold back. He said Steve wasn't protecting no schedule. He was protecting his image. Then Katt cranked it all the way up and called Steve a straight-up joke thief, saying he'd been stealing punchlines from other comics since the beginning. But that wasn't even the craziest part. Katt took it there and claimed Steve was secretly jealous of the late, great Bernie Mac. He said Steve was out here moving grimy behind Bernie's back, trying to block his shine and snatch his roles. Allegedly, Steve even tried to take Bernie's spot in Ocean's 11. That's wild.
You asked it, why you not a movie star? I didn't want to be a movie star. This the same that hated on Bernie with this same thing. I didn't want to be a movie star. No, you couldn't be a movie star. There are 30,000 new scripts in Hollywood every year. Not one of them asks for a country bumpkin black dude that can't talk good over KB and look like Mr. Potato Head. There ain't none. You would have to have range. You called Ocean 11 to get that part. What do you mean you didn't want to be a movie star? So on the behalf of Bernie, I would have to say what I have to say.
All that tea spilled on Club Shay and Steve's team tried to act like it was nothing. They hit folks with the usual, we're not responding to negativity, we're staying positive, blah, blah, blah. But let's be honest, Katt clearly struck a nerve because almost a year later, Steve was still throwing shade, but doing it low-key instead of clapping back head on. He got slick with it, posting some feel-good Family Feud clip talking about staying focused and ignoring haters. Even captioned it, "You don't have to address your haters, but come on now." If he was really unbothered, Why he's still bringing Katt up nearly a year later. Right after that tweet, Steve kept the energy messy on his morning show, dropping more subliminals, subtly suggesting Katt was out here spreading lies.
There is no progress without opposition. Sometimes the opposition comes from the most unsuspecting places. The devil is evil. He don't fight fair. This thing in life, that's not fair what they saying about me. That's not fair what they doing about me. It wasn't fair how they did Jesus, but they did it anyway. You are not going to get away through this thing called life without opposition. Be careful when you hear something that's laid out to be the truth, and because the person that's telling you what they say is true is speaking eloquently, don't be deceived by that. There are some people who know how to lie so well. They know how to sprinkle in just enough truth and wrap it inside their lies where they got you thinking that somebody telling the truth. You can't be righteous and negative at the same time. Righteous people do righteous things. Godly people do godly things. If the person you are talking to is talking ungodly, stop when they try to tell you they are from God and of God, because that ain't the truth. The voice of God does not have sin in it. When you are listening to anybody that's trying to make you think that they anti-Illuminati or any of this, like that, be very careful, because God's voice does not have sin in it. If you are of God, speaking from God, you will not do anything that's ungodly.
Then Steve switched lanes and got all preachy, talking about how God's voice don't carry sin and how folks claiming to be anti-Illuminati might not be from God at all. He said, if you're truly of God, you won't speak or act in any ungodly way. But let's not get distracted, because even in all that holy talk, Steve never denied a single claim Katt made. No receipts, no real response, just slick talk and spiritual shade. And instead of letting it die out, Steve kept the beef on slow burn. Fast forward to his golf classic in June 2024, and Steve snapped again, this time taking aim directly. He threw out more subtle jabs like a cat ain't it, and even tossed in a few thinly veiled threats claiming he could destroy him. So much for all that positive vibes, only preaching, huh?
A young man without a role model is like an explorer without a map. How do you figure manhood out without talking to another man? And I want to say Katt Williams on shit I wanted to say. I can't say it on the radio, so I don't use my platform to bring nobody down. But when I'm live, though, I'll destroy you.
But Steve wasn't done yet. By August 2024, he was back in the headlines, this time at InvestFest in Atlanta. While talking about handling criticism, Steve couldn't resist slipping in a flex about his fighting skills. He bragged he could still throw hands and take down anybody. Then he threw in that slick little jab about someone short with a perm. Come on, we all know exactly who he was talking about.
And you'll never have a hater that's doing better than you. Always know that. Don't get off the wall to dress some pity any boy who ain't got going for himself. Now you done stopped your climb up on the wall so you can come down here and talk to his little punk. Don't do that, man. I stay away from it. Now, do I want to? Yes. Because I'm a human being and I'm hood. I used to be a fighter and I still got hands. They slow, but if you get up on me real slow, I can still knock your one out. I just don't have the quickness I have. But I still know how to turn my hip and shift that weight, and I'll knock your short ass out. I'll shoot your perm straight out your knee.
Katt caught that shade real quick and didn't miss a beat. As soon as Steve's Tough Talk clip went viral, Katt hit back in true Katt Williams fashion. He hopped on Instagram and dropped a meme video caption, "Yes, Steve, shade was delicious,"
to post a video and seemingly respond to what Harvey had to say.
God damn, I look mother good. Eating you, she's up. I'm talking about eating you.
After all that wild back and forth, things cooled down for a minute. But now, with Shannon Sharpe caught up in his own messy lawsuit drama, The tension between Steve and Katt looks ready to blow up all over again. Sources say Steve just can't stay out of it. He's allegedly trying to turn Shannon's mess into another shot at Katt Williams. Word is Steve's been reaching out to Shannon, trying to convince him that Katt set him up and caused his whole career spiral. But fans, they're not buying it. People say Steve needs to sit this one out because Shannon did what he did. No one forced him into those reckless moves. One fan even said, "This is ridiculous. No one made Shannon chase young girls. No one set him up. He's just trouble." And about Steve, another comment read, "No matter how slick Steve Harvey talks or how classy he acts, Katt's got him shook." Let's be real, Steve tried to dismiss Katt like he was beneath him. But the way he keeps bringing him up, posting subliminals, and throwing low blows, yeah, Katt definitely hit a nerve. Now I want to hear from you. Is Steve still bitter from getting dragged on clubs, Shay? Or do you think there's some truth to this wild theory that Katt set Shannon up? Drop your thoughts in the comments. Don't forget to like, subscribe, share, and hit that bell so you don't miss a single drop of this tea. Catch you in the next one.